Hello everyone, this is Yun Lab. 안녕하세요. Welcome back. Today we continue our study of 해요체. Previously we learned that 해요체 is an informal polite speech that uses 아요 or 어요 to show respect to the listener. Now we will explore another important aspect, adding 세요 or 으세요 to show respect to the subject. Okay, let's get started. Even in everyday conversation, people often use the suffix 시 to sound more polite. When the subject honorific suffix 시 is combined with the final ending 어요, it forms 시어요. This is commonly shortened to 셔요. But in most cases, 세요 is used instead. 세요 is a fixed form that has undergone phonetic change. Conjugation rules. Alright, let's take a look at the conjugated forms. If the verb or adjective stem ends in a vowel, attach 세요, and ends in a consonant, attach 으세요. For example, using verbs 가다, to go, would be 가세요, 가세요, and 잡다, to catch, to hold, would be 잡으세요, 잡으세요. Unlike verbs, adjectives do not commonly take 세요 or 으세요, but when they do, it usually expresses a polite statement. For example, 크다, to be big, would be 크세요, 크세요. And 작다, to be small, would be 작으세요, 작으세요. And for nouns, based on the form noun-이다, if the noun ends in a vowel, attach 세요, and ends in a consonant, attach 이세요. Be careful, 이세요. For example, 할머니세요, 할머니세요. And 선생님이세요, 선생님이세요. Four sentence types using 세요. Okay, let's go over the four sentence types in detail. Number 1, declarative sentence. 선생님이 오세요. The teacher is coming. 선생님이 오세요. 그분은 정말 멋지세요. He or she is really cool. 그분은 정말 멋지세요. 이분이 우리 할아버지세요. This is my grandfather. 이분이 우리 할아버지세요. In these sentences, 오세요, 멋지세요, 할아버지세요 express respect for the subjects. 선생님, 그분, 이분. Number 2, interrogative sentences. 교수님은 몇 시에 오세요? What time does professor come? 교수님은 몇 시에 오세요? 할머니는 건강하세요? Is your grandmother healthy? 할머니는 건강하세요? 팀장이 누구세요? Who is the team leader? 팀장이 누구세요? Similarly, in these sentences, 오세요, 건강하세요, 누구세요, show respect for the subject, 교수님, 할머니, 팀장. Additional examples. 어디 가세요? Where are you going? 어디 가세요? 요즘 바쁘세요? Are you busy these days? 요즘 바쁘세요? 선생님이세요? Are you a teacher? 선생님이세요? By the way, did you notice the subject in these sentences? In Korean, subjects are often omitted. However, when translated into English, the implied subject usually appears as you. Here, you functions as both the subject and the listener. Using 세요 instead of 아요, 어요 adds an extra layer of respect, making the expression more polite. For example, 어디 가요 is suitable when speaking to a neighbor of a similar age, whereas 어디 가세요 is more appropriate when addressing an older neighbor. Number 3. Imperative sentences. 이쪽으로 오세요. Please come this way. 이쪽으로 오세요. Make sure that in imperative sentences, only verbs can be conjugated. And negative imperative sentences use 지 마세요. For example, on subway doors, you can find a sign that says 문에 기대지 마세요. Do not lean on the door. 문에 기대지 마세요. Similarly, you might see a notice saying 뛰지 마세요. Do not run. 뛰지 마세요. Number 4. Propositive sentences. 같이 저녁 먹으러 가세요. Let's go have dinner together. 같이 저녁 먹으러 가세요. Propositive sentences are also only verbs can be conjugated. Yes, just as you think, 세요 is often used in commands, requests, invitations, or suggestions when honoring both the subject and the listener. I think this is because more polite expressions make a request more likely to be granted. Let's look at some more examples. 도와주세요. Please help me. 도와주세요. 이 책 읽어보세요. Please try to read this book. 이 책 읽어보세요. 토요일에 오세요. Please come on Saturday. 토요일에 오세요. 잠깐만 기다리세요. Please wait a moment. 잠깐만 기다리세요. Tip. 세요 cannot be used for oneself. For instance, 나는 여행을 좋아하세요 is also incorrect. You should say 나는 여행을 좋아해요 instead. 세요 is not used for younger people or animals. For example, 동생은 공부하세요 is incorrect. And 강아지가 예쁘세요 is also incorrect. You should use 아요, 어요, which honors the listener rather than the subject, and say 동생은 공부해요. 강아지가 예뻐요. And 세요 cannot be used when the subject is an inanimate object. This incorrect usage is common in service industries like a department store, where excessive honorifics lead to unnatural expressions. For example, responding to a customer's question with 그 사이즈는 없으세요? 20% 세일이세요? 화장실은 오른쪽에 있으세요? All of these are incorrect. So this conversation should use 그 사이즈는 없어요. Or 그 사이즈는 없습니다. 20% 세일이에요. Or 20% 세일입니다. 화장실은 오른쪽에 있어요. Or 화장실은 오른쪽에 있습니다. That's all for today. See you next time.